We spend so much time looking for answers out in the world, but what if the real key to unlocking your full potential isn't out there, but right here, inside your own mind? Today, we're diving into the timeless wisdom of William George Jordan's classic work on self-control, and let me tell you, in today's world, this stuff is more important than ever.
So let's just start with this question right here. Really think about it. What if the biggest, toughest battle you'll ever face is the one happening inside your own head? This gets you thinking, right? Now, this isn't about beating yourself up, not at all. It's actually about empowering yourself, realizing you have the power to take the reins of your own inner world. And that's the real goal here, isn't it? Peace, strength, happiness. But look, self-mastery isn't about becoming some kind of unfeeling robot or just pushing all your emotions down. No way. It's about really getting to know your own thoughts and feelings, and then, learning to guide them with a bit of wisdom. It's the difference between just being along for the ride in your own life or actually being the one in the driver's seat.
Okay, so where do we even start with a journey like this? Well, the source material gives us this incredible metaphor that kind of simplifies everything. Every single day, in pretty much every moment, you're faced with a choice. Are you going to be the king of your inner kingdom, or are you going to be a slave to every little impulse that pops up?
Let's break that down. On one side, you've got the king. This is the version of you that rules their inner world. Now, they're not perfect, nobody is, but they're self-aware. They can look at their weaknesses and go, yep, that's there, but it doesn't define them. They learn from their mistakes. But then, you've got the slave. This version is just a prisoner to their emotions, right? Tossed around by every feeling, completely crushed by any setback, and basically just handing over all their power to whatever's happening around them. And here's the most important part. This isn't about who you are. It's not a fixed personality trait. It's a practice, just like working out a muscle. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic. Seriously, did you just lose it, start fuming, maybe honking the horn? Or did you take a breath, accept it for what it was, and put on a good podcast or some music? See, that tiny little choice, that's self-mastery in action. It happens in those small moments.
All right, so if we're gonna build this awesome inner kingdom, what tools do we need? The book really hones in on two essentials, two pillars that are the foundation for everything: calmness and self-reliance.
Now this first one, calmness. This is a total game changer in how you think about it. See, calmness isn't about hoping for a life with zero stress. Come on, that's impossible. It's about building up the inner strength to sail through life's storms without your boat capsizing. It's that quiet confidence you get from knowing, deep down, that you can handle whatever life throws at you.
And every single day, you're offered chances to trade away that peace of mind. Think about it. The person who cuts you off on the highway, a nasty comment online, an unexpected bill in the mail. These are all little tests, right? Practicing calmness means you start to realize that your inner peace is way too valuable to just give away for a moment of frustration.
And now for our second tool. And this is such a critical distinction. Self-confidence. That's believing you can climb the mountain, but self-reliance, that's the actual strength and the grit to take that first step, and the next one, and the one after that, all the way to the top. It's the engine that literally turns your potential into reality.
In our world of perfectly curated Instagram feeds, it is so ridiculously easy to fall into the comparison trap. You see someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly you feel like you're falling behind. But self-reliance brings you back to what's real. It reminds you that your journey is your own. The only person you should ever be competing against is who you were yesterday. Are you just a little bit better today? A little stronger? A little wiser? That's the only scoreboard that actually matters.
Okay, so now we've got our tools, calmness and self-reliance. Now we need to learn how to use them to play some defense for our inner kingdom. Because trust me, there are a couple of enemies that are always knocking at the gate. The sting of harsh words and the fear of failure. This is a really bold statement, maybe even a little shocking, but just sit with it for a second. The world's most dangerous weapon? The human tongue. It's so true when you think about it. Physical wounds, they heal. But the wounds we get from words, man, they can stick with us for a lifetime. A thoughtless insult, a bit of gossip, those things can leave scars that are so much harder to heal. And here are the weapons in that arsenal. Gossip, it just shatters trust. Slander can literally ruin a person's reputation and livelihood. Even something that seems small, like sarcasm, can just slowly chip away at a relationship until there's nothing left. These aren't just words, they are powerful forces. And let's be honest, we've all been on both sides of this, giving and receiving. So what do?
We can ask ourselves this one simple question. This can change everything about our relationships. Before you speak, before you hit send on that text or that comment, just pause and ask, are my words about to help or are they about to harm? Am I building someone up or tearing them down? That's the practice. That's how we start using this incredible power for good.
All right, let's tackle that other big enemy, failure. We've all been there, right? That awful, sinking feeling in your gut when you realize you failed at something. It feels so personal, like a final judgment that you're just not good enough. It's one of the most painful, but also one of the most universal human experiences.
But what if we've been looking at failure completely wrong? What if it's not a wall, but a doorway? I mean, think about J.K. Rowling. She was rejected by a dozen publishers before someone finally said yes to Harry Potter. Or Michael Jordan. The guy was famously cut from his high school basketball team. History is just jam-packed with stories of people who took their biggest failures and used them as rocket fuel.
It's almost like failure is an unexpected detour on a road trip. Yeah, it forces you off the highway you thought you wanted to be on, but so often it leads you to this amazing, scenic route with a destination that's way more beautiful than you ever could have planned for. So it's not a dead end. It's just a redirection. So we've figured out how to build our inner kingdom, we've got our tools, we know how to defend it, but why? What's the point of all this hard inner work? Well, it's all about finding the one thing that every single one of us is looking for. Real, genuine, lasting happiness.
And we've got to be clear about what true happiness is. Think about it like this. Eating a delicious slice of cake is awesome, right? But it's a fleeting pleasure. Compare that to spending a really meaningful evening with people you love. That feeling, that's a deep, lasting happiness. One is a quick high, the other is a way of being. See, true happiness isn't something you go out and find in the world, it's something you build inside yourself. And here's the 4-step blueprint for how to build it. First, consecration. Dedicating your life to something bigger than just you. That gives you a why. Second, that purpose fuels your concentration, helping you focus on what really matters. Third, that focus gives you the strength for conquest. Winning those daily inner battles. And finally, all of this is guided by your conscience, that little voice inside that points you toward the truth. It's this amazing cycle that just builds on itself, creating a life that feels truly meaningful.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's just come back to the core idea, the big truth that's been woven through everything we've talked about today. Your greatest power. It's not in trying to control the world around you. It's in mastering the world within you. That right there is the key that unlocks absolutely everything else.
So, what are the big takeaways? First, every day you get to choose. Be a king or be a slave to your impulses. Second, calmness and self-reliance aren't just nice ideas, they are your personal superpowers. Third, reframe failure. It's not a stop sign, it's a stepping stone. And finally, real happiness isn't found, it's built, piece by piece, through a life of purpose.
Look, this journey to self-mastery, it isn't easy. But I promise you, it is the single most rewarding journey you will ever take. It's the journey that takes you from being a victim of your circumstances to becoming the architect of your own destiny. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Starting right now, from this very moment, who are you going to choose to be? Because that choice, as it always is yours.